We're here with Ross Wetzel of Bradford Real Estate, and we're going to be playing Jenga with Jeremy with Ross. So thanks for joining us, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So if you want, you can start if you'd like.
Well, I need to tell you, I was the Jenga state champion at my high school, so it was a big deal. So you're in trouble today. So let's see. So it's got to call your name.
It's never been knocked over on the first move.
There we go. There we go. This is
all right. All right. So we will, if we catch any quick questions on here, we'll go those, and I'll just kind of run things by you. So just from a broad standpoint, what is, AI, artificial intelligence, let's just talk from a broad standpoint. What does it mean to you? What do you know about it, just in general?
I know enough to be dangerous, but it's the big hairy monster of the unknown right now in my industry, in real estate. Recently, I had a listing that was empty, and I looked at getting the home stage and getting furniture in it. And I found a company online that will do the virtual staging on the pictures, and it was done in about 5 minutes, and was pretty incredible. Yeah. And it also was a little intimidating, like, wow, we can do this just from our phones now. It's a little unnerving how quickly things are moving with that. But I think it has some amazing opportunities, and I think there'll be some really interesting things that come from it.
When was the first time you heard about, like, artificial intelligence really coming into mainstream?
I think when you start thinking about, like, in real estate, when Zillow comes in, Zillow is an algorithm that works through and predicts values, but I guess in a way that's kind of the first brush that we've had with AI, and it changed how our industry operated. It really did. We've evolved around it, and Zillow is just about as accurate as my Jenga playing, but it can be. It can, and it gets better and better, and it's definitely a game changer when it comes to people's perceptions of how they can research their own values and how they can kind of be their own armchair quarterback when it comes to real estate.
Have estimates become more accurate?
In some ways, yes, and in some ways, no. It's just
still hit or miss.
Still hit or miss. So,
yeah,
things like that are very accurate on things that are cookie cutter, townhomes, condos, things that are very similar. It's probably really close. But if you've got 20 acres in a log cabin, but you've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars making it wonderful, well, Zillow has no way of knowing that.
Yeah.
So. It's just like people. It's only as good as the information you give it. So
yeah, gotcha.
Yeah,
that is good. All right, let's see. Got anything here?
Is there something on there?
No, not on there.
How high have you gotten it with somebody? How's it go?
Way up here. No, I'm just kidding.
Some pressure.
So
let's see.
Just from your standpoint, like artificial intelligence or AI, how does it work? Like, how does I've heard different things, but what in your mind, how's AI work?
Wow, that's a big question right there. I think that as far as related to the real estate industry, they've been collecting our data through MLSs, through appraisals, through closing information for a long time now, and I think they've found a way to start to process and use this information and deliver it to a consumer level package that can be easily understood. Zillow is a great example, but there's others, Redfin and things like that, and also these companies that have started buying up properties, they realize the potential in certain neighborhoods and certain areas for rentals that maybe the individuals living there or real estate agents haven't seen the potential for. We saw a lot of that during the pandemic of companies buying a lot of rental properties, seeing in the future this is going to be a big demand and something that is going to be highly sought after for the end users, for people. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. There's so many ways that it can be used, and behind the scenes that it probably is using that we have no idea. But I think the potential is there to really evolve the interaction that an end user, consumer has with pricing their home, with seeing what's available, with seeing what's potentially around the corner, what developments are coming, things like that right now there's a little bit of gatekeeping with real estate agents, with developers, with big corporations that I think will start to break down in the next few years.
Yeah. Do you know, as far as from an AI standpoint, when you speak of you got Redfin, you have Zillow, obviously you have the search engines that are a big player, I think, in that.
Definitely.
Is there one that you think has a bigger impact, going forward? on like the real estate market? I mean, you think like Google obviously has every search in the world, and they've been keeping track of everything that's ever been searched, probably.
That's the thing.
But because I don't even know, like I know there's ChatGPT, there's all these different things that are AI like arms, but I don't understand them all. So
well, you and me both. You and me both. But yeah, I think Google is the driving force behind this. Whether it's something that you and I could go see and figure out, or if it's something that they're using on the back end to help other companies or a service they sell. But I think that they're leading the charge as far as I can see. Microsoft is starting a few programs that I've heard about, but I really haven't had a chance to play with. But I think with the AI world, the big boys are going to continue to be the big players in this, and I think it's going to be the innovative companies that get bought up, and these companies own their technology, and that gets more of the norm on that. So,
what did you use? What company was it that you used for the staging?
Gosh, the name of it escapes me at the moment. There's 2 or 3, and they're actually kind of fantastic. It's amazing what they can do with really limited information, and you can choose a bunch of different things. But that is something that I've seen. Once I started looking for it, I found quite a few companies that do that. I apologize. I should have had the name of the company.
No, that's great. No, that's fine.
Yeah.
So, and then virtual tours, I assume, are something. Is that something that AI could put together a video and do they recreate a virtual tour? Or how does it work if you were to use AI on a virtual tour standpoint?
That's a good question. We've really come a long way in AI in the tours and photography of a property. Matterport is a program that does a 3D rendering of the property. It's a walkthrough that you can see. It's a much better than just a video or some idiot like me walking around with their phone trying to show you the house. It is. If you've ever taken a look at one, it's almost like a full 3D rendering that you can put yourself in any position of the home and look at any room from any angle. It's really cool. I've used it a few times. Sometimes it doesn't give you a very accurate picture of like the line of view when you walk into a home. Are you seeing good light coming through? Sometimes it's a little. It needs a little work on that, but beyond that, I think it's a fantastic program that has a lot of potential. I think we're going to see a lot more utilization of that across the industry. So.
Obviously, all the AI stuff, it's all got to already be there, right?
Right.
I mean, they're not creating anything. They're just pulling together stuff that's out there.
They're putting together what's already packaged together, what's already there available. You're right. So, it's getting wobbly.
I got a little nervous in the last one. I'll be honest. I thought I was nice and smooth, and I was like, this thing's kind of tight. I was like, I'm going to knock it down. You're in the middle of a nice answer, and I'm going to knock this thing over.
I've had a lot of coffee today, so that probably didn't help. So we'll see.
Yeah. So I know you have. How would that affect like real estate appraisals? So
I think that's where the most potential for AI in real estate is in appraising. I think our industry is in appraising really hasn't kept up with the times as much as the consumer level, real estate level has. Appraising is an art. You really have to know the market. You really have to know what you're looking at. You have to be competent in the areas where AI can take and piggyback off that information of appraisals and closings and really drill down and get you a better picture of value than we have seen in the past. I think that there's going to be a lot more banks that are going to be able to utilize AI and maybe not have to have a traditional appraisal done on every property. That does not say something that's very different or higher end. It's probably going to require an appraiser, but I think in the next 5 years you're going to see a lot more. They call them AVMs, automated value. You're going to see a lot more of those enter the industry and be trusted. Now, that's all good and well until something happens and values go down, and then I think you're going to need a real appraiser in there to kind of know what's going on. But I think that's going to be the first way we really see things change on that side. So,
do you think the biggest benefit to the appraisal industry is going to be just being able to pull together like comparable sales and those type things? Is that the biggest part where AI is going to play?
I think what you're going to see there is the ability to move on things much quicker, much faster, instead of having to deal with schedules, having to deal with a limited appraiser pool. That's another problem right now with the appraisal outside of AI, that there is a limited pool of appraisers available in a lot of markets. It's a tough entry. It's a 2-year apprenticeship. You have to find somebody who wants to train their competition. So it's a large barrier to entry if you want to become an appraiser. And if you want to become an appraiser, God bless you, because I'm not sure why you would. But that, I think we're going to see that the troubles with that, with the limited pool. They're going to rely upon AI and AVMs and things like that to get around that. They've started to lower standards on that and started to introduce some training programs that get you around the 2 years. And I don't think that's a good thing, but I think that it is a barrier that innovation will find a way around. So
yeah. Do you think? Now I've heard this that this is going to be wobbly at the top.
You're playing with fire up there.
Yeah, you've got this set up nicely here.
Ooh,
and if for some reason we knock it over, we'll just keep rolling.
That sounds good.
Because we're moving pretty good. So you see real life examples, and you're like, oh, that is pretty nice. Oh, you got a question on there.
Question.
All right, let's do that.
Yours and we'll,
no, go ahead.
Do you have a favorite spot around town? So I'm as close as a native as you can get without being a native in Nashville. I'm from Kentucky, went here for college. I went to Belmont, met my wife there, and kind of stuck around. Nashville has changed so much since I've been here, and I've watched it change. But I've become that old man who looks on my Instagram or Facebook, and I see somewhere, and I look at my wife and say, "Where is that? What is that?" So there's so many new places, but I'm kind of my son and I are pizza purists, and we seek out pizza places, and we like to go new places, but we keep going back to 5 Points. 5 Points Pizza, best in town, best atmosphere, tough to beat. That's probably my go-to.
East Nashville?
East Nashville.
Okay.
Yeah. The Charlotte one's good.
There's not a ton of good pizza.
That's the thing. It's tough here. It's getting better.
Well, you gotta look places.
You gotta look places.
I always stick with the Cool Springs area, and it's like you get all the chain places.
You're not old suburb guy.
Yeah. They're just like, they're okay.
Yeah. No, I think you got to get into town. There used to be a great place in the arcade. It closed, I believe. But Frankie's Coal Fired in the States, fantastic. It's really good.
Heard of that, yeah.
312 Pizza in Germantown, great place. But 5 Points is always going to win in my book. So
I like it.
Yeah.
And what I was going to ask is, so I've heard that there's kind of this mixed feeling between like AI continuing to grow and get smarter.
Sure.
And I've heard kind of like differing views on whether it's good or not. I think it's going to happen no matter what. But have you heard that like you can like teach it? You can like that's I don't know, like as far as AI goes, do you understand that, like how it grows and gets better and continues to, like, what is your take on that?
So yeah, it's only as good as the information that's being fed to it, and I know that there's been a concerted effort on a lot of the local levels of the MLSs to really feed it more standardized information. We're seeing changes the way we can input data into the MLS, and I think it's a better data collection for that. But that is a little scary on the end, because are you just feeding something that's just going to take your job away from you eventually? And I think some of that we'll see. I definitely do. But I think local knowledge and really knowing people and what they want and what they really need, maybe not what they say. There's not a computer I know that can do that yet. But it's going to definitely change the way we do business.
So I had to concentrate real quick, and I was trying to set up a question here. I'm going to see if I can ask it in the way I want to ask it. So if AI can be taught and can get better, if AI were to teach the original AI a crossover, who would be better at the crossover? Would it be Allen Iverson or the AI?
Oh, Allen Iverson crossed up so many people.
Every time I hear AI, I think of Allen Iverson.
Seriously, I don't think that you could teach anything to.
So you don't think you could teach the AI Allen Iverson?
We're talking about practice here?
Yeah.
Practice? Yeah.
We're talking about practice.
We're talking about practice here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that the Allen Iverson is a character. I think you can't really beat the human touch of somebody like that, and the feel to know when to do something. And then a computer, I'm not sure you're getting what you want out of that, but it's an interesting question.
I couldn't serve it up exactly how I wanted to. I wanted to throw in my AI question and make it try to make it witty, but I don't know if it hit exactly how I wanted to.
I tried to
do you think artificial intelligence practices? We're talking about practice.
Practice. See, that's what you get. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
You keep knocking these out too quick for me.
Told you, state champ.
You're doing great.
My kids are going to get the biggest kick out of me playing Jenga with you here. So
You're doing really well. Let me see if there's anything. So, is there anything like, from a real estate standpoint, any new, like, do you think there's any new industry changes or anything that will come about from artificial intelligence? Like, is there anything that you can think of that maybe is on the forefront that you're not seeing yet that it may come about?
I've seen bits and pieces of things that I think might be interesting, and I'm not sure that I have the imagination to put them into play. But one thing I'm seeing, and I think I don't know if you've seen this. There's a section, a bunch of new companies that have come in that can walk you through your floor plan before the home's built and give you a pretty accurate picture of that, not just some computer simulation. I think that's fantastic. I've worked new construction before, and I have a wife that I built a home with, and if she can't see it, sometimes
Most people can't picture it.
Exactly.
I can't do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's tough. I think that there's going to be some applications for that will be a game changer for new construction.
Yeah.
I think they won't have to build these spec homes just to have something for somebody to walk through. I think they can have a pretty accurate AI representation of it and really be able to give you some good information on that. Where, I think that could be something significant. It's my turn, right? Yeah.
It is.
Let's see. Nope. Oh, we're getting to the danger zone here. Can I get it? Oh, I trimmed my nails the other day. Oh,
It's dancing.
it's dancing. I may have to leave that one
You
alone.
can go a different one if you want to.
Let's see, my left hand's no
If
good.
you get this one out, it might be trouble for me.
That's what I'm hoping. Look at there. Look at there.
You twisted it on purpose. That's your trick.
That's my trick. Yeah.
Got twisted.
I gotcha.
Do you personally feel any type of negative or any threat from AI?
I think a little. I think that there is a part of me that wonders, am I going to be replaced? Is my knowledge, is my ability to do what I do going to be easier replaced by a computer? Is somebody going to say, hey, I don't want to mess with a realtor, I don't want to mess with an appraiser, I can just get this done? And I think some of that may be. But I think in my experience, I'm not the biggest agent in the world, and I'm not trying to be, but what I try my best to do is to get my people in the right place. And sometimes that's an evolving process. Sometimes you find it like that. But sometimes it really takes time and effort and the ability to know what someone's looking for and where they would be a good fit for. And I have a hard time believing that a computer can do that anytime soon.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. And
Yeah.
I think you probably are well ahead of the curve as far as like a lot of this goes, because I think a lot of people are going to try to fight it.
Sure.
And or not try to learn about it. And it's going to happen.
Right.
And so it's
Right.
like, it can be, you just mentioned like 5 different things that could be things to put in your tool belt as a realtor, and if you can say to somebody, hey, look, here's the things I add to the table, here's the things that we can access, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think being a ringleader of the AI circus might not be a bad thing.
Yeah. I don't know how, we haven't heard about it as much in the insurance world.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Is that something that you're going to be?
I'm sure it will be. We have been dealing more with,
Oh, look at you.
like, aerial imagery. A lot of the insurance carriers now are accessing, like Travelers has November 23, February 24. They've got pictures of the top of everybody's houses.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so they go, and that's one of the things they're looking at is their tree coverage, and that's an underwriting factor. They may not write the policy if you have too much
Sure.
coverage over your roof.
Sure.
Now there's shadows that come into play that look like they're
Right.
trees and they're not.
Right.
So it's still learning, but I definitely think there'll be all kinds of things on the. There probably already are things on the actuarial side,
Sure.
and pricing and all that, but that's way above my knowledge level. So
I always wondered with your industry, would it be easily to replace an inspection? Would it be easy to replace that type of thing? I always wondered if that was going to be part of it. But you talked about aerial photos on our previous home. If you look at our aerial photo, that was the main one for us on like Google Maps. You could see me kick back with a cigar and a beer and a chair. And I was like, what was I doing? That it was it like hopefully it was a weekend. Let's see. Okay. Oh man, look at that. This could be trouble. I got to do it right-handed because apparently I don't have the angle for it. Oh! Look at there.
Wowzers.
Look at there.
That's a lot on top.
That is a lot.
That's
I'm going
heavy.
in the middle.
It's heavy on top. Any idea, like this is something that's on here, and I'm curious on this. I don't know. Have you heard anything about like artificial intelligence and like I don't know if you know anything about cryptocurrency or blockchains or
A little.
but that's one of the things we looked up is that's coming into play as far as like keeping records and things.
Sure.
Are you familiar with any of that?
A little bit. I think there's a lot of potential for crypto type, a peer-to-peer currency for real estate transactions. But the big problem is every state is different on how they handle a real estate transaction. There's no one governing rule and set of escrow and title and everything. It's all similar, but it's not exactly the same. Because I've had a couple friends ask me, is there potential for that? And I think that there can be, but I think our industry is not standardized enough to really stand up to something like that. But I think in the future it certainly could be.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, that's interesting to me. And then I think like the blockchain, from the way I understand it, is like Bitcoin is a blockchain. Every purchase, every sell is tracked. And
Sure.
so you can go back and you can see everything that's happened. So so there's ways that you can actually document real estate closings and title transfers, and it all be digital. It all will be permanently kept somewhere that you could access. But I'm sure one of these days it'll come into fruition. But,
I think it will. I think it definitely will. You'll like this. On the appraisal side, about 8 years ago, I had someone ask me if I took Bitcoin, and I was like, you know what? Sure. And I was like, I'll figure this out. I got a wallet and got somebody to pay me, and the appraisal was a couple $100s, And I sat on it for a couple months. And gosh,
how long ago was it?
Oh, this was like maybe 10 years, 8 to 10 years ago.
Oh boy.
And I sat on it for a little bit, and gosh, I looked down and I made $75. I was like, this is fantastic.
Sell it.
Sold it off just like that.
I haven't. You had?
I didn't. I had just a fraction of a Bitcoin, but it was enough
But
where.
still, if it was $200 8 to 10 years ago,
it was enough where I'm really sorry I didn't hold on to it.
I know. Oh boy, I didn't expect that to come out.
Look at that.
All right. There was some. Oh, what about like? Do you get into like the smart home stuff? I mean, is that something that, from a real estate standpoint, that you talk to people about? Do you see it very often?
I do, and I think there's some really interesting applications for that, especially with the smart thermostats that can dial it back when you're not there and things like that. What I have found, some of it is very attractive to some buyers. Some buyers want to walk into a home and it's all done for them. That's great. Most people who aren't super savvy on it want to do it as they understand it and pick and choose the pieces that they want. But I will say it's a selling point a lot of times on a home. Hey, I've got smart thermostats. Hey, we've got monitoring on our hot water heater. We've got things like that. I think it certainly is becoming attractive to consumers.
Do you see many homes that are fully integrated? Like when you walk in and there's like, because I think we had an insured that built a new house and they had like a whole closet and it was like everything.
Sure.
Everything was controlled, centrally controlled. They could do it all on their phone.
Sure. You see it on higher end properties. You certainly see a lot more. Mm-hmm. But people have been slow to adopt the fully automated home. You see bits and pieces, and you see things like Ring doorbells and video cameras becoming very much the norm, and I think that's becoming more of a standard. But the whole home automation is something that I think that we'll see more of, but right now consumers, a lot of them just don't understand it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, I automatically think it's going to be really expensive.
It is, yeah.
But, I mean, from an insurance standpoint, there's a lot of opportunity for, like, water claims are huge, right?
Yes.
They're very expensive.
Yes.
And so if you have something like an automatic water shutoff, those are typically really expensive, but they're getting more affordable and there's more options.
We're in the nowhere zone here.
Yeah, if you get this, I'm in trouble. Oh.
Oh man.
Look at you.
There.
Wow, I don't want to go anymore. Can I throw in the flag?
We can just knock it off.
No, this is good. I'm trying to think. Is there? Do you know? Have you guys been presented to the real estate industry as far as like regulations on artificial intelligence? Is that something that is coming into play at all?
I haven't seen that, but I think it's something that we're going to have to definitely look at, because I think there are some applications that start to border against butting up against people's personal information, and you see this with information on homes. You have to be careful. You protect people's information and identities, but I think there's something to be said for that, and I think there's going to need some safeguards to be put in on that. I
don't know of anything right now. Are you aware of anything?
I'm not aware of anything.
It's like a Wild Wild West. So,
sure, exactly.
It's kind of back to like the cryptocurrency. I have a little bit of that, and I just got in there and started doing stuff, and I had no idea.
Yeah.
And it's like it's starting to get regulated a little bit,
sure,
but not totally.
Sure.
So it's a whole new world. All right. So what are the chances of me actually getting this?
Very low. Very low.
Yeah, I agree. I probably need to go one of these. Where in Kentucky did you grow up? I don't remember if you told me this.
Owensboro, Kentucky.
Owensboro.
It's an old river town that refused to die for some reason. But if you've ever gone to Holiday World, you've gone through Owensboro.
Is that Santa Claus?
Santa Claus, yeah.
Okay.
Santa Claus has this amazing theme park and then a Dollar General and a gas station for some reason. Look at you. God, how did you find out?
How did that happen?
That's funny.
Oh my goodness.
There's no way I'm getting another one out. Because we're getting it thick up here,
So how many horse races have you been to in your lifetime?
I've been to quite a few. I'll say everybody knows about the Derby. The Derby's fun. The Derby is, unless you can really spend the money, it's not worth your time. Go to Keeneland and Lexington. Keeneland is, if you could squeeze Kentucky into about 2 square miles, it's Keeneland. It's where they auction off the 1-year-olds. You'll see these horses go for millions of dollars, but it's stone and ivy, and it's glorious in the fall. So go to Keeneland. Yep.
All right. You still have family in Kentucky?
I do. My mom and sisters are still in Owensboro, Kentucky.
Are you required to like bourbon if you're from Kentucky?
Well, you're not required, but it certainly helps.
Yeah.
It's so funny, the bourbon craze and how crazy things have gotten with collectors and hunting everything.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And all those.
You didn't happen to collect stuff from your home state as a kid?
I should have.
As a kid.
Well, as a kid.
As an old enough to collect person.
As a legal age drinker.
Yes, young adult.
It's so funny, all the Wellers and Pappies and stuff when I was in college or just out of college, they would just be sitting on the Rite Aid shelves, just dusty. Nobody was buying them. And now it's amazing what that would be worth. Man, there's no way. No, that's too low. You started this one. I don't know. I don't think we can do it. Oh. I knew I was going to do that.
Thanks for doing that. I appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that was fun. So I guess we'll end with, I covered about everything I could think of on AI.
Yeah.
You did a wonderful job. I think you knew a lot more about it than I did. And as far as your industry goes, maybe I need to dig into it in my industry, because I guarantee there's more in my industry than I'm aware of. So for you to be on top of what's going on in your industry is important. I think you said at the beginning that you weren't very well versed in it, but I think you probably are a lot further along than you realize.
Well, it's funny. I think going through it, not thinking about all the avenues that it actually touches, it's really amazing to think about the opportunities and the options that will be there for us in the future. But I think, like you said, we've just scratched the surface, and I need to dig in and learn more. So
I needed AI when I was doing English back in the day.
Yes, could you imaggen how great would that have been?
Doing English. See?
English, that's the first key.
Doing English.
Yeah.
See, it would have really helped me back when I was doing English. I guess tell everybody how someone can connect with you if they wanted to track you down.
Obviously, you can find me at rosswetzel.com, but also look for me on TikTok and Instagram and those things, because I've decided that I'm an idiot and I might as well show the world what an idiot I am. And I've got a few videos out there. And if you want to learn more about real estate, give me a shout. If you want to laugh at an old suburban dad falling down, doing dumb stuff, look me up on the socials. So
that's great, man.
Yeah.
Well, thanks a
Thank you.
bunch.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate it. That was awesome.